everyone. Welcome to another yoga session with me. This one's a little different. We're online. I hope everyone's doing well with the current circumstance. So over the next week, while we're in lockdown, I'm going to be producing 3 yoga videos for you guys. This is the first one. The main focus for this one is all about relaxation and really deep stretching for our muscles. Nice focus on mobility. For the second video, I'm going to be focusing on a bit of upper body, so releasing through the back, shoulders, neck, and for the third video, it's all going to be focused on the lower body. So stretching out the legs, releasing through the hips, and also lower back. So to get us started today, all about relaxation, really nice and chilled. If you haven't joined in on a yoga class with me before, that is super okay. Hopefully you still get to enjoy it even if you haven't before. What we do, we're going to start off with a little bit of breath focused work. We're grounding our breath. We're then going to move through some sequence of movement, and we're going to end in a meditation, which might be a little bit different online, but we're going to give it a crack. I'm just getting a notification. All right, that's okay. Sorry, guys. It's a new learning process for me too. So getting us started, we are in a seated position. All we're going to do is close the eyes. We're taking a brief opportunity at the start of this practice to ground the breath and draw our attention and focus to our breath. We want to focus on creating a nice, long, slow and steady inhale, drawing in through the nose. And as we exhale, we want to completely, fully empty our lungs. So a really big exhale. I say this every class, but focusing on our breath is the easiest, the quickest, the most effective way to relax our nervous systems, invoke a little bit of relaxation, and help diffuse stress and anxiety. So as we breathe in, I want you to take in our intention for today's practice, which is relaxation. And as you exhale, let's let go of stress, negativity, self-judgment, and self-criticism. Just let it all go. Serves us no help in life, no help in yoga. All right. Just a couple more breaths. Just focusing on the inhale and the exhale. I want to be breathing into the belly, so we feel the belly expand as we inhale. Draw back in towards our spine as we exhale. And just an important reminder before we get started that make sure you work within a comfortable range of motion for your body and yourself. Everyone's bodies are very different. Just because you're not flexible or you think you're not super mobile doesn't mean that you're going to be bad at yoga. Just give it a crack, listen to your own body. If anything I do doesn't feel right, I'm going to offer modifications as best as I can as we go, but just listen to your own body. Feel free to keep your eyes closed. Let's just start off by giving the shoulders some rolls back. Shoulders are one of the most common places to hold a lot of stress and tension in the body. And give the shoulders some rolls forward. Bring the shoulders back to stillness. We're going to bring some rolls into the neck now. So just in one direction. And when you're ready, swapping over to the other side. And once again, coming back to stillness. From here, let's draw in a nice stretch for our spine. As we inhale, bring your arms up to prayer. Exhaling to the left, right hand on left knee, left hand to the back, and looking over that back shoulder. Feel free to put as much resistance as you're comfortable with on the knee. Stretch into the pose as deep as you like. From here, bring your head back to center, so just in a neutral position. We're going to look up, not fully dropping the head back, but just directing our gaze towards the ceiling. Let the head drop, we're tucking chin into the chest. Release the head back to center. We're now looking over the right shoulder. And let's release. Inhale again, draw your hands up, exhale to the other side. Let's take the stretch through now on our right side. Once again, just as much resistance as you're comfortable with. From here, bring your head back to a neutral position. So just release that, looking over the shoulder. We're going to look up once again, just directing the gaze towards the ceiling. Don't forget to focus on the breath. Make sure you're still really slow and steady with your inhales and your exhales. Let's tuck the chin into the chest. And releasing, now looking over the left shoulder. And release, let's inhale to our heart there. This time as we exhale, hinging from the hips, we're folding forwards towards the ground ahead of us. We want to try to bring our forehead towards the ground, and we're stretching and lengthening all the way from our shoulders down to our fingertips. Keep your head up. Let's step the hands over to the left side. So we're stretching through the left side of the rib cage. And from here, just release the right arm straight up, looking up towards your fingertips. Bringing the hand back down, step the hands over to the right. Now stretching to the right side of the rib cage. This time, with our left arm, we're coming straight up, looking towards those fingertips. Don't forget, focusing on the breath. We still want nice, slow, steady, long inhales and full, complete exhales. Really take your time with your breath. It is our main focus. And bringing that hand down, stepping through to the middle and drawing the hands back in towards the body. From here, let's spin ourselves around, rounding our fingers underneath our shoulders and our knees underneath our hips. So once we're in our tabletop, just take a second to address your wrists. Often people get really sore and stiff wrists in this pose. If you know that's you, you can claw at the mat to press a bit of space between your knuckles. This can help. Otherwise, feel free to come up onto your fists. Start us off, let's do some more spine work. As we inhale, arching the spine, tucking the chin into the chest. And as we exhale, slightly drop the belly, direct your gaze up. Don't drop the head fully back, just towards almost the ceiling. So take your time, use the breath. Inhale, arch the spine. Exhale, drop the belly. Cat-cow is really good for our spinal mobility and flexibility. Also really good if you suffer from any mid to lower back pain. And lastly, really great for aiding in the process of digestion. So if you're eating a really big meal and you start to feel sick, funnily enough, this is actually a really good one. Couple more. When you're ready, come back to a neutral spine. From here, we're going to be coming into our organic cat. A lot of people really don't enjoy this one, particularly in a class, because they can feel a little bit exposed. It calls for a little bit of freedom of movement, and a lot of people don't actually necessarily enjoy that. But right now, you're at home, literally no one else can see you. So let's do our organic cat. Pretty much all this is just finding a movement that feels comfortable for you and your body. If you've got a sore lower back, listening to that and moving with that. If you've got really sore shoulders, maybe moving the shoulders a little bit more. It's just all about moving in a way that feels comfortable for you and your body. And getting in touch with your body and finding areas that do feel a little bit more stiff or sore than others. For me, it's always my shoulders, so I try and move my shoulders a lot, as you can see. Just a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, coming back to stillness. From here, still in our tabletop position, we're going to draw in a stretch for our upper back and our shoulders. This is our thread the needle. So with an inhale, take your left hand up, sweeping back. And as you exhale, bring your arm down, thread the needle, come down onto the shoulder. If you want to take this one step further, open up a little bit through the chest. You can take your hand that's just resting on the ground behind your back and tuck your hands between your thigh and your torso. And just focusing on the breath. I know I've said it a lot, and I promise I will say it many more times. We just really want slow, steady breaths. Grounding our focus and allowing relaxation. When you're ready, we're slowly going to start to rise up. Release our hands, sweep it back up towards the ceiling. And then bring it back down to the mat. We're going to take through our thread the needle now on the other side. So once again, same thing. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, come down, thread the needle. Once again, if you want to open up through the chest, take your hand behind your back, tucking it between your thigh and your torso. And slowly releasing. With an inhale, bring yourself back up. Once again, opening up through that side. Bring your hand down. From here, we're not going to stay in our tabletop. Let's tuck under our toes, send the hips up to downward dog. So in our downward dog, let's pedal our feet one at a time. Stretching out and releasing through the backs of our legs. Our legs work really hard for us, for the rest of our bodies. They do a lot. Our legs and our feet carry our weight. So it can be really good for our bodies, for our circulation, for our muscles, to give these areas a little bit more attention and focus. From here, come up onto your tippy toes. Want to bend the knees towards the chest. They do not have to touch. And then straightening our legs, and from here we come down onto our forearms. If that's not comfortable for you, stay here. Feel free to keep paddling the legs. Otherwise, we're coming down onto the forearms into our dolphin. In dolphin, the main thing here is that we're not resting our head on our arms or on the mat. We want a nice free head. When you're ready, bring yourself back up to downward dog. We're going to shift our weight forward from here, so we're in our plank. From our plank, let's slowly lower down onto the mat. Untuck your toes. Hands are in by the chest. We're going to take an inhale here. And as we exhale, pressing up into Cobra. If you're not comfortable in Cobra, come to a baby Cobra. The main important thing here is that our shoulders have a great distance from our ears. So if you look like this, come down onto the forearms. We want to keep our shoulders well away from the ears. Let's slightly direct our gaze up. Couple more breaths here. great stretch for the lower back and our abdominal muscles. Slowly release. From here, we're coming into our scorpion stretch. Out at 45 degrees, take the opposite foot. Try and get those toes to touch the ground behind you. Take it through on the other side. We want to get each side at least twice, so take it through in your own time. There's no rush. And when you're ready, we're coming back to center. We're going to pick our torso up, coming back to our child's pose. In child's pose, we take an opportunity for stillness, to notice any sensation in the body, take note of how you're feeling, and also to reconnect to the breath. It's really common throughout the practice to forget that we're meant to be having really nice, slow, steady breaths. So just take a sec, notice how your breath's feeling. Is it starting to get a little bit more shallow, a bit more in the chest and shoulders? Is it a bit quicker? Let's go back to encouraging a slower rate of breathing, really deep, focused breaths. Here in your child's pose, feel your belly expand as you inhale and drawing back in towards your spine as you exhale. Just 2 more breaths here. When you're ready, let's slowly release out of our child's pose back to our tabletop. Once again, we're not going to stay here. Tuck under your toes, send the hips up to downward dog. And once again, we're actually not staying here either. Take a second though, stretch out through the backs of the legs, because why not? Everyone loves this one. From here, we're going to come into our 3-legged dog. So lifting, one leg up. We're coming through, bending the knee, grounding that foot between the hands. Mine wasn't very smooth, managed to kick the plate behind me, but doesn't have to be. From here, we're going to start with our back leg up. If at any point you want to drop the knee and untuck the toes because it's more comfortable for your body, go for it. But let's start off by trying to challenge ourselves. From here, move your hands so they're both on the inside of the foot. So your foot's on the outside. Your hand that's closest to the foot, let's stretch up. And from here, slightly coming back. So we're opening up through the chest. Slow breaths. Let's swap over our hands, bring that hand down, bring the other one straight up. Bring that hand down from here. Got our hand that's closest to the foot on top of the knee. We're stretching the knee out away from the body, dropping our pelvis towards the mat. This is our hip opening stretch. Bring the knee back in towards the body. Bring your hand down. From here, drop the knee. If you haven't already, untuck the toes. So we've got back knee on the ground, hands are beside our foot. From here, if you're comfortable, we're going to come into our lizard pose. So lizard pose is coming down onto the forearms in this pose. If that's not comfortable for you, if your hips are still a little bit stiff, just hold this pose and focus on bringing the hips towards the mat. We're not in a lunge, we're not like this, all the way up here. We really want to focus on dropping. If you've got 90-degree angles between your knees, I hate to tell you, you're not in the stretch deep enough. Bring a step forward, try and drop the hips towards the mat. Long, slow and steady inhales, 4 complete exhales. In our lizard, our knee is straight up. It's not coming out away from the body. If your knee is coming away from the body, just take a step further away. We want our knee going straight up. From here, we're coming up, and what we're going to do is ground this front leg, bringing it down, coming into our pigeon. So drop the calf, keep the hips squared. So our hips are going the same direction. We're not coming back like this. That back hip's not drawing back too much. We're nice and squared. Our pigeon is a really great stretch for our hips and our hip flexors. From here, we're coming down into a pose of relaxation. So drop the body towards the mat, over the top of your leg, and just allow yourself to feel into this stretch. When you're ready, slowly begin to lift your body up. We're staying here in our pigeon, and we're going to come into a deeper stretch. So from here, we want to pick up our back leg, see if you can reach back and hold on to the toes. If you can't, that's okay. Just see if you can pick it up. Otherwise, it's optional. You don't have to do this part. We're going to hold the toes and draw the foot in towards the body. So we're stretching out underneath our hamstring. You feel a good stretch into the front of the thigh as well. Let's release from here. Slowly release your pigeon, ground your foot. We're coming into our half split. So we're stretching out this leg that's been really tightly wound up in that pigeon. We're stretching it out. Coming forward once again. From here, lifting up that back leg, send the foot back, so we're back in that plank. Same thing as we did earlier, let's slowly lower down onto the mat. Hands are by our shoulders. Take an inhale here. And as we exhale, come into your variation of a Cobra. However you did it before. Keep the shoulders low. Slow and steady breaths. Let's lift the body up, really arch the spine here. So we want to have a really, really rounded back. Send your hips back to child's pose. We're not in a regular child's pose like this. We've got a really rounded back. We're counterposing our Cobra. From here, let's shift our weight forward again. So in our tabletop, we're tucking under the toes once again. Send the hips up, downward dog. Let's take a second, stretch out the backs of our legs once again. Notice how our bodies are feeling. Does your left side feel a little bit different to your right side now? All that kind of stuff. Once again, from here, let's come up onto the tippy toes. Bend the knees towards the chest. They don't have to touch. Straightening the legs. If you're comfortable here, stay here. Otherwise, come down into dolphin. Remembering to keep our heads free. And coming back to downward dog. From here, let's come into our three-legged dog. Don't want to keep the plank again. Sweep the knee through, round the foot between the hands. Once again, let's try to keep that back knee up if we can, but if at any point you need to drop the knee, go for it. Hands on the inside of the foot, hand that's close to the foot. Let's extend up, and if you can, a little bit back, opening up through the chest. Slow, long breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose. Bring that hand down, let's swap over to the other side, going straight up. Bring that hand down, let's come to our hip opening stretch, hand on top of the knee. Encourage the hips down and that knee away from the body. Bring that knee back in towards the body. From here, we're going to drop that knee, untuck the toes. We're coming into our lizard once again. So hands are on the inside of the knee. If you're comfortable here, come down to the forearms. Keep that knee going straight up. We're not going away from the body. If it is going away from the body, take a step out. Bring the knee further away from your torso. Bring your foot, sorry. Bringing ourselves back up, let's come into our pigeon. So drop the calf, keep your hips nice and squared. Don't send your hip back, and nice and squared. Coming into a pose of relaxation for a few breaths. From here, slowly lifting the body up. We're going to pick up that back foot, see if we can hold onto the toes, encouraging that foot in towards the body. Going to feel that stretch through your thigh. Releasing our leg from here, safely and slowly coming out of your pigeon. Grounding your foot once again. Let's come into our half split, stretching out that leg, which has been so tight in our pigeon. So in our half split, I didn't say this before, but we want to make sure that we're not coming all the way back and sitting on our heels, because this draws our foot back. Our foot stays exactly where it is, and our hips just come slightly back. Slowly bending into that front knee once again, tucking under the toes, lifting up that knee, stepping back. So we're in our plank once again. From here, slowly lower. Taking an inhale. Exhale, tight Cobra. Just a few breaths here. From here, let's lift our bodies up. Rounding the spine once again. Bring the arms back, coming back onto the hips in a really rounded back child. Once again, we're not in a regular flat back child. We've got a really rounded spine. When we're ready, let's bring ourselves back to our tabletop. We are not staying here. Tuck under the toes, straighten the legs, walking hands in towards the feet into a forward fold. If in your forward fold you need a nice generous bend to the knees, please go for it. We're going to hold onto the elbows and just do a little bit of rocking from side to side. Gently release the elbows from here. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we're slowly rolling our spine up, stacking one vertebrae on top of each other at a time, coming up to standing. Once we reach standing, just taking a second, acknowledging how we feel with our eyes closed. Noticing any sensation in the body, noticing how your breath is sitting. When you're ready, let's open the eyes, take through a standing stretch. Left leg, step behind the right, hold onto the left wrist, stretching through the side of the body. Feel free to close the eyes. Let's release and take us through the other side. And release. Just another standing stretch. We're just letting our arms flop around our body. We're moving in a slight rotation. Just really gentle, fluffy movements. Sounds weird, but feels really good for our back. And coming back to stillness. From here, we're going to take through 3 rounds of a salutation. All this is inhale, bring arms up, exhale, prayer to the heart. 2 more times. And last one, inhaling and exhaling. As we exhale from here, let's come down to our yogi squat, sending the hips down, pressing elbows into the knees. This pose has a lot of benefits for our body. Great for lower back pain, great if you're experiencing any stomach pains, any bloating, constipation, menstrual cramps, all that kind of stuff. This pose is great for. Let's take through a side stretch while we're here. Although I do have to add, if you are not comfortable in a yogi squat, a lot of people not necessarily tighten the hips and can't do it, but they actually have really tight Achilles or ankles and they can't do it. Feel free to come down into a butterfly. It's up to you. So taking through a side stretch, hands to the opposite foot, stretching over to the side. And take it over to the other side. And release back to center. From here, release the feet, send them out long, coming down onto the back. So on our backs, let's bring the knees in towards the chest and just focus on massaging your lower back and hips from here. Draw circles with your knees, a little bit of rocking from side to side, whatever feels comfortable for you and your body. From here, we're going to come into a hip opening stretch. So hands on top of the knees, encourage the knees out towards the sides. If this here is enough of a stretch, stay here. Otherwise, coming into our happy baby, feet towards the ceiling, elbows on the inside of the knees, hands on the outside of the ankles or the outside of the feet. If when you come into your happy baby, your feet either come in towards each other like this or come further away from each other like that, just means that you're probably holding up a bit too high. We want the feet nice and straight, palms of the feet directly towards the ceiling. So come down, just hold on to the knees. The main focus is we want to stretch through the pelvis and the hips, encourage the knees closer towards the ground. If you want to do a little bit of rocking from side to side, you may. That's up to you. We're just staying here for a couple breaths. Okay, we're ready. Let's release. Placing your feet on the mat. Send your arms out at shoulder height. From here, let your knees drop in one direction, face in the opposite direction. Just bringing in our final stretch, which is a stretch for our spine before we come into our meditation. So just swap sides as you feel, just listen to your own body, there's no rush here. Some people like to cross the knees to create a deeper stretch. This is up to you. Just taking this through a couple times. When you're ready, from here, we're actually going to come into our meditation. So let your legs go out long, let your arms flop to the side of your body. Just let go of all effort and tension. This is called Shavasana. Release the tension from your hands and feet. Let your feet flop out to the sides. Just be completely comfortable. Just before we get started, I just wanted to give you an opportunity. Feel free to turn off some lights. Feel free to put another layer on if you're worried you're going to get cold now that you're not moving as much. Just make yourself really happy and comfortable. So release any and all tension from your body. Are your shoulders equal distances away from the ears? Are your hips both equally as heavy, grounding into your mat? Release the muscles in between your forehead and eyes. Release your cheeks, all the little muscles around your lips and your mouth and your jaw. Right now, there is nowhere else for you to be. There is nothing else for you to do. So just enjoy this practice. It's not very often you're actually given the opportunity to be completely still Be completely at ease and just focus on yourself. Notice how your body feels and draw your attention back to the breath. Long, slow, steady breaths, deep breaths. As you inhale, take in the relaxation that you have cultivated during this practice. Feel your belly rise with air. And as you exhale, bringing it back in towards the spine, feel your body become more at ease, sinking deeper into your mat, becoming heavier and heavier with each breath. For the last few remaining moments of this class, I'm going to leave you in complete silence. Just leave my music going for you to just enjoy this practice. As I said at the start, breathwork and focus is the easiest, most effective, quickest way to relax the nervous system, promote well-being, and diffuse anxiety. Slowly begin to draw some movement back into the body. Wriggle your fingers and your toes. Gently let your head rock from side to side. With your next inhale, draw your arms up and back behind you on the mat and stretch and lengthen all the way from your fingertips down to your toes. focusing on elongation through the spine. When you're ready, draw your hands into prayer at your heart. I honor the place in you where the whole universe resides, a place of peace, light, and love. When you're in that place, and I'm in that place, we are in the same place, and we are one. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice online. I hope that wherever you are or whenever you're watching this, that you enjoyed it, the bodies feel really good, and you either go on, have a great day today, or have a really great sleep tonight. But thank you once again for joining me, and I'll see you next time. And yeah, so for the next class, we're going to focus on our upper body, so back, shoulders, neck, and also a bit of the spine. So thank you once again. We'll see ya.